Just based on what you saw this last weekend, looking ahead, what do you want to see? What do you feel like? What are you thinking?
This weekend I saw a little more resiliency at times than I've seen from this team like early on in the season. I think one of my quotes was, I think if we had been in those situations on Wednesday and Friday, maybe 2 to 3 weeks ago, I don't know that we'd get out of those. So it was nice to see that we were able to kind of respond well when we got tested. We're still it's kind of one of those things like, when you watch the film and the ship is sinking and there's like you're trying to plug the one hole over here and you get that done, and there's another one over here, another one over here. We're kind of experiencing that at times. Like, hey, we got that taken care of. Oh, what's happening over here? So I think we're just going to kind of be in that boat, and we're just going to try to keep that boat afloat and gradually figure out how we can steady some things out. Some of that is just going to come with time, which is unfortunate, but that's really the only thing we can do. I do like the fact that we can be in the gym a lot this week, home for most of the week and get some good reps in and see if we can, have a good showing this weekend.
To that, you talk about plugging the holes and going through that. It's got to be encouraging, though. You recruit some of these players and everybody talks about, well, you see them and how talented they are, but there's the intangible of how much fight they have. When kind of the chips are stacked against them, you get to see that, how they react, and how that fight is actually applicable.
Applicable.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in a game atmosphere, you get to actually see that.
Well, it's nice. I think what's nice is the fact that you've got some young kids that are trying to figure some things out, but you've got some of these older kids who've been there before. Maybe they didn't have to take on much of a leadership role. Now they are, whether they're playing on the court full time, whether it's part time, whether they're not seeing the court much at all. They're doing a very good job of just keeping them calm, keeping them, hey, this is kind of what we do. Let's just go out there and go as hard as we can. And really, when we do that, when we can just kind of compete mentally and physically as hard as we can, we're going to be okay with the result. I mean, that's one of those, if we can just control those things from our standpoint, then we'll let the chips fall where they may. This was a good week for us. We'll take it. What I will say is that we have not played the top portion of the conference yet. And that's going to be, it's really going to be, I would say there's 4 or 5 teams right now that just depending on the night, you don't know what you're going to get. So it's going to be a real challenge. I would say for our next 3 weeks, it's a lot.
You talk about those top teams. You get 2 of them this week. What are some things you maybe see on tape from them and that you can exploit?
Omaha is going to be very, very left side driven. And so they're going to have, a really good right, 2 really good lefts. So it's going to be, can our strength of whether Jordan and Lydia, are they going to be able to kind of score consistently? If they're going to try to block us one-on-one, I don't know many teams that, they try that originally, and then after about 4 or 5, then all of a sudden, you've got 2 sets of hands. And I know at one point Friday night, I look up and there are 6 sets of, there's 6 hands that are just all over the place. They're tripling our middles. So, we're going to have to make sure that our middles are seeing where the block is coming from, hopefully getting a chance to kind of put the ball to kind of some of those soft spots and score. We can cause them some problems. And if they've got to change, we want them to change what they're doing. We don't want to have to change what we're doing. And if you look at these 2 matches, it's really going to come down to who can play their game at their level better, and then whoever is having to make the most adjustments is probably the one that's not going to be successful.
I know it's the middle of the season, but how big of a momentum week is this to pick up 3 wins like you did and now have two big games coming?
Yeah, it beats the alternative. There's no doubt. I think for us we needed to be home. I think we needed to be home for a little bit. I can already tell that the kids it's a little lighter. They're in class a little more. They're starting to really kind of enjoy their classes more because they get to go, oh, wait, you're my professor? Nice to meet you, So I think that's good. I think that's going to kind of help translate into the practice gym because I think we'll be in a better mindset.
Will this weekend kind of establish a mid-season hierarchy in the league? Or?
It could. I still think that, we will play the first half of conference games, and we will not have played South Dakota yet. So that's going to be something. I think when I look at the back third of conference, there's a lot of really tricky road matches for a lot of teams. So for us, all I'm trying to do now is just kind of get ready for Omaha. I don't mean to sound like, Belichick, but it's just like we're just worried about next week, on to next week, So that's really, I think, where we need to be right now with our youth. I don't want to think too much big picture. That might be too much. So we're just going to try to see if we can play well down there. We've never played in that arena. It's a new place. I don't know. Have we played Denver before? As long as I've been here, I don't know. And to be honest, Denver, you can call it whatever you want. They've been the standard in the Summit League. There's no doubt. So, when we got in the Big Sky, Northern Colorado was the standard. And we had to work our tails off to get past them. So I'm interested to see, okay, what is that standard going to be? How close are we to that? Are we there? Are we not there? And then what's it going to take for us to kind of match that standard? So I'm excited to see really just how we do it this long weekend.